This video ended up becoming my 100th Christmas video that I've made on my YouTube channel, and to tell you the truth, I was honestly surprised and mainly thankful that I managed to make this video because I was originally going to make this video as part of last year's December schedule, but considering of everything that I've went through into making that Christmas schedule, let's just say that my vibes will die down during that time, and I have to regain it once we get into this year's December. But believe me when I say this video centering around my experience with the holiday itself was something that I really wanted to do, which is why I wanted it to become my first Lonely Vibes, only to have my intros and the outros be my first Lonely Vibes that I made earlier this year. Let me just say for a fact that Christmas has meant so much to me to the point that I really didn't want that holiday to be skipped no matter what, to the point that I started from 2017 and still continue on to this day, but at the same time, it's just not going to be the same like before. Granted, I could do revisits, but I'm not going to be doing that this month. To be incredibly truthful with you guys, I was planning on skipping this month because after doing the schedule last year, that was a lot out of me, and once we get into that schedule later on in this video, you'll understand why. But for now, I'm gonna be tackling all the Christmas schedules that I did from 2017 from last year. Believe me, when I started doing my Christmas reviews of 2017, it was honestly a mixed bag. You can say it's mainly humble beginnings, but to tell you the truth, it was honestly a time where I'm still trying to get used of using my content on YouTube, and this was before I reached 1,000 subscribers, or mainly before reaching 500. I don't know what I had back then, but tell you the truth, my channel wasn't really like it was nowadays. And I'm just gonna say it right now, 2017 was literally the time I literally had what I had in order to make it about Christmas. Like, believe me when I say this, the Star Wars Holiday Special review, not really one of my best. Obviously not really a good idea, judging of how it just really made me miss the whole point of George Lucas hating this to the point that he just can't be able to, he just wants to erase it, and me just ending it saying, why Lucas, why? Yes, I'm not kidding. I literally put that in, and if I would show you what I said right here, you will understand that this is honestly one of the most worst videos that I made, and shockingly, it hasn't even reached a lot of attention due to the fact that people just didn't care about me back then. But let me just say this right now, I really was thinking a little too ahead when it comes to making these schedules that, to tell you the truth, I was really overthinking it. Like, this whole bashing Lucas because he made this, and the fact that I just realized he wants to erase it from history, I really didn't realize that was the case. Then again, I'm mainly thinking about this considering I only made this, and if I did revisit, which I'm not going to, it would probably be a lot more better than the original, but still. When it comes to the rest of the videos of my 2017 list, it's honestly not the best. Like, I understand I did reviews off of stuff from DreamWorks, Cartoon Network, and Nickelodeon, but keep in mind, I really felt like I was just literally doing a lot. I was just trying to make this schedule at least special, and knowing full well that this was around the time while I was in college, well, not really college, but mainly going to college, but not staying there in order to learn from there. This really feels like an experience of just trying to handle what to do during the Christmas time, because judging of how I could have remade these reviews a lot more better than what I ended up doing back back at the day, it kind of feels like that this is mainly the Christmas that I was into, but at the same time, I didn't take my YouTube channel seriously when it comes to Christmas, because this was before I did so many fanfic readings involving Christmas and other stories that you can instantly tell that I had little to work with, like a lot of little to work with. That I did rewatch some of these, don't get me wrong, I did watch some of these videos during my spare time, but keep in mind, it's not like that I was really impressed with these videos. And judging of how I released, well, with the exception of the Star Wars holiday special, I released these in one day, because that's what I usually do back in the day, because I just didn't want to go through so much pressure into uploading them once in a while. And judging of how fast I made these videos, it just feels like I just wanted to make this at least good enough to be its own thing. And to tell you the truth, I could have done much more better if I gave them a revisit, which would have worked out for my own favor. But keep in mind, I really had a lot less to deal with when it comes to making these videos. Like a month ago, I did Cartoon Crisis for the first time. I've been thinking about doing another My Little Pony month, and to tell you the truth, with Christmas being the end of my to-do list during that time, it's honestly weird. Mainly of how that I enjoyed Christmas back in the day, and even though it may be odd to reconsider that nowadays it may be a different story since I took Christmas seriously, but back in the day, it just really feels like that I just didn't know what to deal with when it comes to celebrating my channel and other places on social media, especially since I wrap up everything with Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, which ended up becoming the first holiday Christmas, well, technically second Christmas holiday, because I reviewed Merry Christmas Drake and Josh, but mainly the first actual Christmas movie that I actually reviewed, because of the fact that it was literally the only Christmas material that I had in store that made me appreciate Christmas as a whole. Like I said, this was really at a time where I just didn't know what to do, and believe me, it will improve later on, but looking at it now, you can really tell that Christmas just wasn't my thing when it comes to making videos. It just wasn't, especially since I didn't make Christmas fanfics at the time. When it comes to 2018, it's an improvement, obviously. I started recording my voice with screenshots. Well, technically I have the episodes themselves that I can be able to talk over, but still. What makes this year an improvement is mainly the fact that I can actually focus on saving these videos for a later time, not to mention I actually enjoyed doing some of them, mainly the My Little Pony, the best gift ever, even though it may come out in the end of October, but it's Christmas related and I need to save it for Christmas. Now, granted, I can tell that this isn't much of an improvement for what I reviewed, but keep in mind, I really didn't take the holidays seriously when it comes to making videos, and I did do at least a couple of fanfics involving Christmas, but that's not much in comparison to the following year that we're gonna get to later. You see, the thing is, whenever I think about my 2018 Christmas list, it's mainly the fact that I was just trying to do what I could in order to make it an interesting year, and to tell you the truth, I really felt like that this was mainly me just trying to do something holiday related, because it's Christmas. Like, 2018's Christmas isn't one of my favorite years involving Christmas, but that's not saying much when I literally have most of this to contribute. Like, this is right before I started using music in backgrounds for my videos, which was in 2019, and I can tell that I was literally just wanting to make this Christmas at the very least mainly what I can when it comes to the shows that I cover, like SpongeBob Christmas Who, That's So Raven, Escape Clause, and the 2 My Little Pony episodes, Hearthwarming Club, and the special, not really an episode, but special, The Best Gift Ever, and wrapping it all up with Teen Titans Go, The True Meaning of Christmas. Yeah. Not really a great ending to wrap up, but let's be honest with you, I really didn't have much to work with when it comes to making these videos back in the day. Like, trust me when I say this, you can instantly tell that I was literally doing what I could in order to make this at least something, but believe me, 2017, 2018 were literally not my years for Christmas. I mean, I did enjoy hanging out with family and whatnot, but at the same time, when it comes to videos, not so much. When it comes to the following year, it's a huge improvement. You see, since I've been adjusting to my YouTube channel a lot more and improving on what I did back then, I literally took Christmas to a whole new level. As you can tell, I did fanfic readings. This is the first schedule that I did fanfic readings of, and to tell you the truth, that's literally the main highlight of 2019 Christmas, and the fact that it was the final decade of the 2010s. Believe me, whenever I think about December 2019, it's mainly about my Christmas videos, Christmas itself, and mainly the fact that it's the final decade. Like, the vibe in this month was really huge. With my new intro that I did, the customizable background music things that I did at the end, which I no longer use, which for me personally, it's really a shame. And the fact that what I contribute during the Christmas season by reviewing multiple Christmas material was honestly a blast. Granted, I can tell that I could have done a lot more, but believe me, this is literally the beginning of me doing Christmas material that it just made me a little too overwhelmed. Like, by the time that these videos were airing, I was literally focusing on future schedules, and I already got My Little Pony Marathon 2 finished just before the schedule started. And when it comes to me thinking of what I could have done to make this holiday special, or basically anything else, it just gave me more of an inspiration of what I could have done for my YouTube channel. Because believe me, with this being the first time I got into We Bear Bears and it took time for me to get adjusted to the show, that's honestly a memory that really that is really inside me a lot more, considering that I ended up growing an adjustment towards We Bear Bears later on, because We Bear Bears Christmas Parties was the first episode or show that I got into when it comes to doing something different or getting into a new material that I haven't witnessed before. And while nowadays it may be slowing down, back then it was honestly unbelievable. Believe me, I really felt like that this schedule was a lot more personal to me in comparison to what I did in other channels. Granted, it may be over-exaggerating, but believe me, the Christmas fanfics that I did, even if they were mainly from My Little Pony, I was literally enjoying doing fanfics in 2019, and the prime of it all was mainly doing the Christmas stories while also doing background footages. This was before I had my MacBook Pro, but at the same time, it was still a blast that I actually enjoy writing them and getting the chance to do a fanfic reading of them. You don't even understand how I felt when Christmas came around when it comes to a new intro and outro and doing these fanfic readings. Believe it or not, I think I did 10 new fanfics that centered around My Little Pony and Christmas, and I did 4 of them. Like, trust me when I say this, even though that these fanfics may be difficult to read through because back then I'm a really poor writer with poor grammar and other punctuation skills, but believe me when I say this, I really found some enjoyment into doing these fanfics, because despite My Little Pony came to an end, I was still in a My Little Pony mood. Especially when it came to my Equestria Girl story, A Gift to a Princess Holiday's Heart, which is based off of Holidays on Wrap. Even though it was a little too joyful and a little too into the Christmas spirit, that's literally the spirit that I had back then. Like, I was really into the mood to doing Christmas material back then, that whenever I think about Christmas reviews and fanfic readings of 2019, I immediately think of this and the other stuff that I did. Like, trust me when I say this, I was highly in the mood of Christmas, to the point that I did this fanfic in the beginning of September and waited until I posted in October because I was impatient, and then uploading the video of it in December 20th. It was honestly a day that I will never forget. It's literally the joy that I really adore during the Christmas season. And even though I may have done multiple things at once when it comes to doing most of the stuff, like Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, which for me personally, it's supposed to be cheesy, but it's the cheesy that I do not like. Just to point this out, I did not rewatch this review because, to tell you the truth, it just wasn't that important. But still, it's not like that I'm really ashamed at everything I did. Like, the Star Wars holiday special I'm ashamed of, but when it comes to this, not so much. Believe me, this was before I got into Steven Universe and before my adjustment to We Bare Bears is slowly developing. When it comes to the final fanfic that I did, Luster Dawn's Hearthwarming Friendship Lesson, believe me, I was really shocked that Scribbles Productions, I am sorry I forgot her name, ended up including this along with Hearthwarming Rainbow to be part of her top 10 My Little Pony Christmas fanfics list that she uploaded 2 years ago. I was really amazed on the fact that I had 2 fanfics to be part of it. Granted, it's mainly a showcase, but believe me, I found showcases as a positive because I really enjoy doing these videos to the point that it made me appreciate what I was capable of when it comes to the Christmas season. Believe me, you will probably find some enjoyment into what I have in 2019, with it being the final month of the decade, and the fact that despite COVID ended up happening during that time, let's just say that we managed to have Christmas a great time in comparison to the following years. 2020's Christmas list was mainly there. I mean, when it comes to the fanfics that I did 2 fanfics off of others people's fanfics, and I did a fanfic off of A Christmas Story that I didn't do last year, mainly the fact that there was so much going on, so I ended up doing it this year. And there was a new fanfic around the time that I did, Snowflakes of Past Friendships. To tell you the truth, with this being the first time I'm using my MacBook Pro, this is honestly around the time I was getting the growing adjustment because I didn't do 1080p yet, and even though that I could have done a lot more, I just couldn't because I was planning on doing a sequel to the Equestria Girls fanfic, but it just didn't work out for me, so I ended up putting my attention on Snowflakes of Past Friendships. Granted, I didn't put much attention on going back to this video in comparison to the other videos centering around My Little Pony fanfics, but to tell you the truth, I just really felt like I wanted to do something special for 2020's Christmas, and considering that month, while being a fun year for me and my family, it doesn't change the fact that COVID was around the time, and thinking about COVID during Christmas was honestly a dark year. Like, if it happened last year, I would probably be a lot more depressed, but since COVID has been around, and it was been around a lot more effectively in March of 2020, I'm honestly I'm honestly not that depressed in comparison to what other people felt during COVID on that time. Like, I don't blame them for getting upset, but at the same time, I was fully aware of the COVID thing, especially since that I spend all the time indoors, and the only times I ever get out was mainly an orthodontist appointment. But that's about it. Now, when it comes to what I had in store when it comes to doing these videos, it's somewhat on the same levels of what I did in 2017 and 18. Like, I'm trying to do different techniques and doing different ideas by going back to cartoons that I went through in the past, but let's be honest with you guys. It's always bound to happen to go through multiple things and try to come up with different ideas along the way when it comes to doing something new every year. And since this was around the time, since I've been making these videos around the time where I was getting into newer cartoons that took time for me, like Infamia and The Owl House, this was literally a month that really felt like a pass-by, not really a pass-by, but mainly a filler month for me to handle Christmas. Like, I still enjoy making the videos, like the fanfic readings that I did off of other people that I did that are from FIM Fiction, but to tell you the truth, it just really feels like that I'm just intending to do something special for people's expense, for just trying to make Christmas a great holiday. Keep in mind, the two fanfic readings that I did based off of two authors on FIM Fiction weren't that simple, and those were the last two fanfic readings that I did that were based off of other people's stories. It's just that I just don't want to go through the entire stress into saying through a fanfic and just try to remember most of the words, but also researching on the newer words that I've never heard of, to the point that it just becomes a lot more repetitive. Like, granted, I can tell that I was being a lot more nice during this time of year, but at the same time, this was something that I had no plans on doing, especially since that I'm not in the My Little Pony mood anymore. When it comes to the specialties of this month, I did the Johnny Bravo Twist the Night versus Dexter's Laboratories Dexter vs. Santa Claus episode, which for me personally really feels like an awkward way to do a video out of, but I was planning on reviewing the Johnny Bravo Christmas episode / special, but I decided to scrap that since I realized that this was actually the prequel to that. Like, I can tell for a fact that I was literally just trying to do something special when it comes to these types of videos, knowing of how I had little to work with, but keep in mind, I really felt like that this month was literally what I can do and what I'm just trying to improve in comparison to last year's Christmas schedule. Like, believe me, if you ignore nearly most of everything else on when it comes to other projects that I ended up scrapping for later years, mainly Phineas and Ferb, because I think this is the last time I ever talked about Phineas and Ferb. The Grinch 2018 review that I did, yeah, it really shows that I was really thinking a lot, and to tell you the truth, my opinions of this have slightly changed, but that doesn't automatically mean that I hated this movie. To tell you the truth, it really feels like that whenever I think about what I did back then and what I accomplished back then, it's mainly what I had at the time. The vibes that I had in December 2020 was mainly me just trying to do Christmas reviews, and the passion that I have is somewhat there from last year's, but not the same. But mainly not completely as the same effort that I did of last year's schedule. You can argue all you want that these types of videos are just mainly me just celebrating the fact that I'm just enjoying Christmas in my own way, but like I said, this was literally around the time where I was really into the Christmas spirit a lot more, and when it comes to these types of videos, it's mainly just what I can contribute and what can be scrap for next year's holiday schedule. Mainly what I did for the next 2 Decembers, because believe me, 12 is honestly a perfect number when it comes to Christmas videos, but in comparison to this, 20, 25 not qualifying the preview, it was honestly a giant mess of many proportions. Like, if you really think that I was really glorifying this schedule way too much to the point that I was literally just doing a lot more than necessary, believe me, you haven't seen nothing yet. 2021 and 2022 was literally one of the most difficult months that really sucked out all the energy that I have involving Christmas. Like, you can really tell that most of these reviews will happen later on of this year or the following year, but to tell you the truth, I was really into the Christmas spirit to the point that I did a lot more than necessary, that I ended up making Christmas reviews when new episodes were airing from other shows. Mainly the Ghosts and Molly McGee's that I ended up doing Festival of Lights, which is mainly a Jewish holiday, and Saving Christmas. Tell me, I was really in the Christmas mood to the point that the background music that I have with these videos is literally all over the place. And since that this was also around the time, well, I didn't got into the Loud House, and, well, technically I was trying to get into the Loud House, but I ended up trying to fill in the one time by reviewing the live action movie of it. Believe me, I was way over my head when it comes to these schedules, to the point that this is definitely outdated, and I will definitely revisit it, but this month just isn't the time because of too much going on at one time that I just felt like I was way over my head when it comes to this Christmas schedule. Because as much as I did people's wishes on doing reviews off of stuff that they requested back at the day, mainly the Merry Madagascar special along with others, keep in mind, this was honestly the month that really changed a lot when it comes to doing so many things at one time that it just made me want to glorify Christmas a lot more. Like, the 2021's Christmas was really a great year for me. Like, I spent my time with my family, I slept over my brother's apartment, well, not really apartment, but mainly his house, and I had gifts. Granted, to tell you the truth, we don't do that anymore, but in all honesty, it really felt like it was the year that Christmas is never going to be the same afterwards. Trust me, like, if you're really into a Christmas mood, like, and if you have all the time in the world like I had back in the day, you can really tell that you want to contribute a lot more within the holiday, despite the fact that the outcome of it just wouldn't matter at the end. But that's literally the passion of doing these videos. I just really enjoyed doing these Christmas reviews to the point that I really wanted to do a lot more when it comes to my passion of the holiday, what I really enjoy during the holiday, and the fact that there was so much to work with. I don't know about you, but you can really tell that if you really are into the Christmas spirit, even when you're in your early 20s, you really wanted to do a lot more, even if it may be quantity over quality. But I did what I could in order to make this at least as special as possible, because aside from the multiple Christmas videos that I did that centers around me mainly reviewing recent Christmas material like the Amphibia for A Froggy Little Christmas, I was really trying way too hard, and yet at the same time I ended up giving up. What do I mean by that? These two fanfics. Equestria Girls Twilight and Sunset's Big Fat Holiday Trip, and We Bear Bears Wish Upon a Christmas Star. Even to this day, I wasn't able to have the ability to continue on with Twilight and Sunset's Big Fat Holiday Trip, because To tell you the truth, I'm a Question Goes out by that time, and trust me when I say this, this was a painful experience to instantly do 2 stories that are chapter stories and finishing them on time before making a video of all the chapters. Like, do you want to know what's behind this span of chapters 1 through 4? Are chapters. Yeah. I gave up because I didn't want to go through the pressure of doing multiple Christmas stories that are chapter stories, and if you don't believe me, I stopped at the 29th of September, and I was reaching into October to the point that it's gonna be a lot more complicated to do multiple chapter stories into one. Believe me, it's not simple. It's never going to be simple to do so many things at one time, and quantity over quality is literally what pushed me down when it comes to stuff like this. Because take a look at the time that I did when it comes to my We Bear Bear story, Wish Upon a Christmas Star. I started at the end of July. I did 3 chapters in August. I did 4 in September, 3 in October, and 1 in November, because I was extremely burned out into doing fanfics to the point that I was literally slowing down. Let me just say this for a fact that when it came to me reviewing Christmas movies, it was a painful experience, but at the same time, there were Christmas movies that I was willing to celebrate during the season. So it kind of makes sense for me to do a review off of a Christmas movie, since that it would probably put joy into people who watch Christmas movies in favor of watching shows or doing fanfics. But believe me, the fanfics were a lot more complicated, considering that the Wish Upon a Christmas Story was literally 3 hours and 7 minutes long. Let me just say this right now. If you really thought that I was willing to do something like this in favor of heading to my December schedule deadline, then you are literally not realizing the pain that I've went through for the sake of putting all this together, because it wasn't simple. My admiration on doing a We Bear Bear story after doing The Truth or Never Again wasn't that simple. Let me just say it right now. Like, I could have, if I really had the knowledge of saving this fanfic for next year, my time would have been a lot more wasteful, because even though that this was around a time while I was slowly getting out We Bear Bears, I really felt like I was just trying to make this special when it comes to doing something better than the perfect tree, considering that episode, while still a good episode, it's not as better as the other Christmas episodes from We Bear Bear. So doing a fanfic reading of it really proved my points on just doing so much for the show that it just ended up sucking the life out of me more than ever. I can understand that doing these fanfics were a bad idea, which I learned from the hard way, but to tell you the truth, that's literally what made it worth it. Granted, I had to favor one over the other, but believe me, wrapping Christmas up with this fanfic, despite being 3 hours long, was literally my intended goal all along when it comes to wrapping up Christmas. And considering that I ended up wrapping my Christmas schedule up with my gifts of 2017, it really shows onto why my parents found this video enjoyable in comparison to what I did in the other videos. That just really shows that what I had in store for December 2021 was literally the month where I literally took Christmas seriously and my passion of the holiday itself. But this was also the aftermath where my schedule in 2020 was literally slowing down. Like, I did my schedule of January 2022 and Valentine's half month for February, but after that, my schedule just hasn't been the same because I was extremely burned out into doing multiple things. Trust me when I say this, 2022 wasn't really my year when it comes to my schedules, to the point that I was extremely burned out and completely went through so much at one time. But as far as I'm concerned, that's literally the reality that I went through when it came to 2022. Because as far as I'm concerned, if 2022 was literally the same as my other years of doing multiple things at one time, then I'm pretty sure I won't be able to do Lonely's 25 Days of Christmas, or just Christmas and Fanfic Readings 2022 for short. You see, after I did my Loud House video involving the broken character development of Lincoln Loud, I didn't have anything to work with. Like, I did make videos in October and November, but it wasn't much. Like, I was extremely burned out. So what I have left is mainly doing the 25 Days of Christmas gimmick, because ABC did this when it comes to the Christmas time, and I decided to make it one of my own. And believe me, I would have done this last year if I had the ability and not focus on other projects, but this was literally the last opportunity for Christmas to have a 25 Days of Christmas, because believe me, I'm pretty sure that if I didn't do the schedule, there would be no chance that it would ever happen. Let me just say this right now, that this schedule alone was complicated, sure, but it was literally one of my last goals that I had at the time, to where I wanted to do something special during the Christmas season. And even though I didn't get much during last year's Christmas, it's not stopping me on doing something special when it comes to this schedule. Because believe me, it wasn't really simple for me to put through everything in time, because I was extremely burned out doing Christmas activity that I really did what I could in order to make this work, and luckily I managed to succeed. I really did so much when it comes to doing these types of videos, when it comes to Christmas movies, fanfics, and whatnot, and I can tell for a fact that even though that I would have done this a lot more earlier, it's better late than never, because to tell you the truth, December 2022 was honestly a year where Christmas is still good, but at the same time, I just felt like I can't be able to top what I did when it comes to last year's, and the only way for me to top it is mainly doing a 25 Days of Christmas, because uploading a video up until the 1st of December and all the way to the final day, which is the day of Christmas, was literally a task that was completely the only goal that I have when it comes to contributing the holiday. Like, I did the Summerpalooza schedule when it comes to uploading every video for one day despite the final day, which is the 31st, and knowing how it was a lot more important to have Christmas have that type of schedule, it really shows. Let me just say this right now, that the last year's schedule involving Christmas was a lot more complicated, because I tried to get into newer shows, but my ability to do so just wasn't enough. Trust me, this was really around the time I was just trying to focus on newer cartoons and try to be into the Christmas spirit at the same time, that it just really feels like that there was a lot going on that made me a lot more stressed, because the goal of reviewing newer shows that I haven't heard of was mainly trying to get into them, and to tell you the truth, Kim Possible just isn't the one. I really feel bad for people who liked Kim Possible back in the day, and I did try to give it a chance, but let's be real, it's not possible. It's never going to be possible to have me be pleased with everyone. And when it comes to this year's Christmas schedule, it's the same thing. Like, I haven't watched another episode from its point aside from the Beach and Halloween episode. And Chalk Zone, considering that I was originally going to be reviewing a Halloween or something else centering around the show, it really shows that I really took this month a little too seriously, but to tell you the truth, that's literally all I have back then. Like, with this taking place before I did my signature Loud House vs. Casagrande videos, to the point that it became a major factor for my channel this year, it kind of shows that a lot is going to change after this month. Like, in 2019, it made sense because I was trying to get wet, because I was also focusing on little projects like My Little Pony Marathon 2. But when it came to this schedule, it really felt like the last of what I contribute when it comes to what I did back in the past. Mainly from 2019 to what I did right now, what I did last year. Let's just say that me being burned out and just watching multiple movies was literally not an experience that I really wanted to do, but this is literally one of the reasons on to why I'm not reviewing any Christmas movies for this year, because it just isn't worth it. It would just put more stress on me to the point that it would just honestly becoming a lot more repetitive than instantly just reviewing some material from Christmas movies. I know I didn't want that correctly, but I had less options in comparison to what I had in previous years. Like the Good Luck Jessie NYC Christmas, well, it's a crossover Good Luck Charlie and Jessie, and the fact that, to tell you the truth, I do not watch Jessie that much, and thinking about it now, this is literally a fiddle. This is literally a way to add in a slot in my December schedule. And considering that I ended up scrapping videos of last year's Christmas schedule, yes, they were actually scrapped, reviews off of my 2021 Christmas schedule, this was a lot more complicated because, to tell you the truth, I had a difficult time reviewing these, and even though it may be worth it at the end, it kind of shows that I'm getting out my Christmas element a lot more, that it just made me a lot more exhausted than being into the Christmas spirit. Which, for me personally, it sums up a lot onto why that this December, it's not going to be the same like the other previous months. In fact, it will probably reach levels of 2017, 18, and maybe 19 levels of Christmas uploads, well, minus the fanfics. Speaking of fanfics, let's just say that I was really just trying to tone down to what I have when it comes to doing fanfic material, because let me just say this right now, the Loud House Mistletoe Kiss from Aloud and the Cartoon Network crossover Steven Universe and OKKO Let's Be Heroes Christmas Gem and Power Card Spirit, they were mainly the last inspirations of what I have when it comes to doing fanfics, when it comes to Christmas related. And to tell you the truth, there may be more coming along the way, but you can easily tell that I really want to tone it down. Like with this being an hour long, it's still long, yeah, but at the same time, it's less of a stressful experience compared to last year's schedule. And when it comes to the crossover between Steven Universe and OKKO, I wasn't even planning on doing another Christmas fanfic, because I was originally going to plan on doing one fanfic, and with this idea in mind involving Steven Universe and OKKO, I managed to succeed, but at the same time, I didn't come up with a description of the fanfic yet. Let me just say this right now, it wasn't simple to do this story in comparison to the Loud House fanfic, because as far as I'm concerned, doing the one-shot will put less stress on me rather than doing a chapter story, which, for me personally, it took a lot out of me during the majority of 2021. And as much as I try my best to at least make sure that I actually make these stories work when it comes to writing them for the first time, it really feels like that these, despite being good stories on their own, there's somewhat downgrades in comparison to the other Christmas stories that I did in the past. Because let me tell you, as much as Mistletoe Kiss from Aloud did better, in my opinion. Well, not really my opinion, but mainly the opinion of others. Christmas Jam and Power Card Spirit didn't do any favors, and it did less than I did. Granted, I'm looking this up in fanfiction.net and not DeviantArt, but let me just say this right now. These experiences were a lot less stressful in comparison to the stories that I did in 2021, but it is a shame that one of them just didn't get much attention, because if I did a chapter story with one of these, I wouldn't be able to get them done on time, and it will probably be the same fate as the Equestria Girls Christmas story that I ended up canceling. Now, when it comes to anything else, when it comes to the 25 Days of Christmas, I did experiment things, which kind of shows that I was literally just trying to do a lot more when it comes to celebrating Christmas with different ideals. Like the randomness of random ideas that I did was the Super Mario Bros. Super Show Koopa Claus versus the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Sonic Christmas Blast. I just really wanted to do a fanfic, a video centered around Sonic vs. Mario, or Mario vs. Sonic review before, and, you know, to tell you the truth, I'm just really thinking of different ideas of what I could have made Christmas special for 2022 in comparison to other years, that if I wasn't able to do these types of videos now, I'm pretty sure that these videos will never come to light. Will never see a light of day or something like that. I'm just saying that the inspiration that I have involving the Christmas videos, they were a risk that I was willing to take, but at the same time, it was me draining on the fact that I just couldn't be able to take it anymore. And if anyone's wondering on to why the intro and outro are muted, it's because it's mainly the Google ads thing that I wanted to get monetized when it comes to my videos, but since that didn't last long, it just makes the intros a lot more awkward, considering that there's no music, and without any purpose, it just feels really worthless. And I would have done a Christmas intro and outro for this schedule, but to tell you the truth, do you think it's really worth it? Like, I may be regretful for not doing a Christmas intro, but I didn't thought of the idea back in the day, and I surely didn't make it up for the Summerpalooza 4 Beach Paradise intro and the Halloween Mania intro. Let's just say for a fact that what I had in store back then was really draining, and when it comes to the Muppet Christmas Carol, I'm just gonna be real with you. I tried to like this. Like, I really tried. And I've tried to get into the zone of the Christmas spirit by watching Christmas movies, but that automatically means that if I have to watch a movie, or basically do a fanfic of it, I have to make a video out of it. Because that's what I've been doing since I've been making fanfics, writing fanfics, completely watching movies, and try to remember everything so I can be prepared to do a review rather than not revisiting it. Do you even understand how difficult it was for me to do most of this stuff? Let me just say, it wasn't. Like, the saving grace of Lonely's 25 Days of Christmas is that it was the first time I got into Big City Greens, and I've been watching it, but aside from a couple of episode reviews, I don't literally need to do a review of the episodes that I'm highly interested in, because with it being a more comfort zone than it was back then, it kind of shows onto why it ended up becoming one of the longest Disney Channel cartoons in the modern age that aired before Amphibia and the Owl House became a thing. Let's just say for a fact that after 2022, everything has changed. Like, completely changed. I really wanted to move forward with these types of schedules that it just took in a lot out of me. Like, I do not need to do Christmas movies every single time I head into Christmas, and I especially don't need to do anything special involving fanfic-related IPs from, when I mean IPs is mainly cartoons. Granted, I'm planning on doing one for this month, but at the same time, let's just say that it's mainly out of pure luck because I want to experiment other ideas rather than doing the same things again and again. Just to get this out of the way, I still like Christmas, I still enjoy Christmas, but at the same time, when it comes to making videos centering around Christmas, it's literally the total opposite, but I still have my vibes towards the Christmas during my Christmas schedules, because it's honestly astonishing that this ended up becoming my 100th Christmas video, but the fact that I've come a long way by making these videos and getting them done on time. Granted, when it comes to this schedule, I am still going to make Christmas videos despite a couple of Loud Tales vs. Cross-Agantes projects, but at the same time, it was bound to happen. I gave Christmas its time to showcase of what I enjoy during the holiday, and to tell you the truth, I've done a lot more than necessary. This was really not a difficult month to get through. Actually, this was a lot more difficult to get through, judging of how that I was really trying a lot in order to celebrate the Christmas holiday. But let's just say for a fact that there's always going to come to a time where it's going to die down. Granted, it's still continuing to this day, but at the same time, it's not going to be the same because I have less options to work with after doing my schedule last year, and to tell you the truth, I'm honestly thankful. Like, the videos that I have in store for this month ain't gonna be special, but to tell you the truth, I just want to focus on other stuff in the meantime that is a lot more important than Christmas. I'm not sure what this month's Christmas is gonna be for me, but I'm just gonna say it right now, it's probably gonna be somewhat similar to last year's, or maybe the same as the other Christmases that I had in the past. But let's just say for a fact that it's probably better to tone down what we had in the past and mainly just accept what we have in the present rather than going a little too over the top. Let me just say this, that my experiences with Christmas on my YouTube channel and mainly outside of my YouTube channel was honestly a journey that I had to go through. But at least it's worth knowing that I finally managed to make this Lonely Vibes video to showcase what I experienced during the holiday itself. Let's just say for a fact that if you're going to expect Christmas from a YouTuber, it's not gonna be me because to tell you the truth, these playlists are there for you, and even though that they're outdated, it's not like that they're really worthless. Like, most of them are outdated, like I could have done revisits but I don't plan to, but they're still there, and it would show that I did 100 Christmas videos, and I'm gonna continue to make more for this month, but just not much. Granted, I ended up cheating by using reviews off of My Little Pony that I did in previous years and even out of Christmas, but to tell you the truth, I didn't include the We Baby Bears vs. Camp Coral, nor the broken character development of Lincoln Loud that had Christmas episodes in them, but still. All I can say is that when it comes to this month's Christmas, it's pretty much for the best that I just step back and just cool down for a bit and just reflect on what I did in the previous years. Despite the mistakes that I did, I still managed to come out on spreading cheer during the holidays on my YouTube channel. So, I'm Lonely Fanboy for here, and have yourself a Merry Christmas when it comes to your time in December, because for me personally, it's gonna be just what I need to experience when it comes to a grown adult like everyone else.